you as always. Joining us now, former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, retired four-star Navy Admiral James Stavridis. He is Chief International Analyst for NBC News. So, Admiral, cautious optimism here, it feels, around a potential ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah. What do you see as some of the sticking points to make this actually hold and preserve a little peace there?
Well, I'll start with the cautionary note. As Senator John McCain used to say, it's always darkest before it goes pitch black. And that is certainly the sensibility you've got to have developed watching the, to use another metaphor, Lucy with the football back and forth on ceasefires. I could count, I think, 20 times that we've talked about a pending ceasefire down south in Gaza, 2 or 3 times up north. But I think this one probably happens just because it's kind of in the interest of the Israelis. And what I mean by that is, and sticking point number one, they must get those 60,000, I've heard numbers as high as 80,000 Israelis back into their homes. That's a political reality. Sticking point two is they're clearly going to hold on to the ability to go after individual targets up north. And I think that that is baked into the agreement at this point. And sticking point number three, back to Gaza, I think that deal is next in the queue. Those are the 3 things to watch as we go forward here, Willie.
Admiral Sam Stein here. You know, obviously, everything is colored by the impending return to power of Donald Trump. And I'm wondering if you're a leader of an Arab nation who cares about the Palestinian cause, who's looking at not just Gaza, but what's happening in the West Bank, and you recognize that you have an incoming president who's more or less going to tell Bibi, you know, do what you want for a little bit and then tidy it up. How does that affect your posture, not just with respect to what's happening in Lebanon, but on all of these fronts?
Yeah, let's do Lebanon first, Sam. Here, I think if you're Hezbollah up north, you're Lebanese, you really want to cut a deal now. And so that, I think, is why the ceasefire is moving forward. Stepping back a little bit and looking at the larger frame of the Middle East, you know, the capital that is most disadvantaged by the return of the Trump administration is arguably not Kyiv, it's Tehran. And so you're Iranian. You probably are looking for ways to avoid a sledgehammer coming at you. That gets us to the Arab world. Here, I think you're exactly right, Sam Stein, meaning that particularly the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, UAE, the rest of the Gulf Arabs, the Arab world with money are definitely waiting for Team Trump to come back. They have deep pipe there, including financial engagement with Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, who will probably ride point for the administration here in the Middle East. So you're holding, getting ready to go all in being defined as finally recognizing the state of Israel by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That won't happen until after the inauguration. That's the next big strategic muscle movement.
So, Admiral, you mentioned Kyiv. Let's turn to that theater now. It seems that both sides have really ramped up the fighting here as winter approaches and also as Donald Trump approaches. Both sides trying to get as much gains as they can. You know, Russia even deploying a new missile, it appears. What's your analysis as to where the fighting could go in the months ahead before possibly a move to the negotiating table?
I think you categorize it exactly right, Jonathan, which is to say both sides are pushing hard for advantage, knowing that they are going to be headed to a negotiation probably mid-25, if not sooner. And so on the Russian side, you see the deployment of the new weapon you indicated, a hypersonic, 10 times the speed of sound, very difficult to intercept missile. You're seeing 10,000 North Koreans thrown at the battlefield. Those are moves designed to enhance a bargaining position. On the other side, going back as far as a few months ago, the attack into Russia by the Ukrainians to hold the salient around Kursk, and above all, now the use of the ATACMS missiles, finally, all of that, both sides pushing to strengthen their position. How does it come out? I would guess what you see now, if you got out a map and looked at the battle positions, it's going to be pretty close to what you're seeing now. And that's a tragedy. At the end of the day, Putin will have managed to bite off 20% of a neighboring country illegally, immorally, and using war criminal behavior. On the other hand, if that deal is consummated, the rest of Ukraine, the 80% sails on. Democratic, free, path to NATO eventually, path to the European Union. It's not the worst deal in the world. I think that's probably how it comes out.
And Ukrainians fully expect down the road Vladimir Putin to come back for more. So they want that path to NATO. They want weapons. They want to be a harder target going forward. Retired 4-star Navy Admiral James Stavridis. Admiral, thanks as always. We appreciate it.